Hello, student. Now, welcome to lecture number 4. Our lecture number 4 is about the data types in C++. We know that the most crucial thing and the basic foundation of any programming language is depends on data types. Almost in all the language, the basic data types are same. There are two basic things those use in the data when we say is fact and figures. Either we are using numbers or we are storing letters or alphabets. Technically, for the programming, every language is distributed into some basic types with their range and sizes. Here we take a reverse type of lecture. Here first I am giving you an example of some basic data types those mostly will use in our routine C++ programming. And then at the end of the lecture, I will show you the total data types that is there inside of the C++. You can again take the screenshot and notify it for your notes if you want. The example is in front of you is of data types. The major data types are exactly three major data types in C language. Again, if we repeat it once again, the buffer include IO stream for the input and output stream. We know that thing, all this cout and all functions that we will use, the basic regular function of input output stream, we learn from this library. Then we have a using namespace std where keep assigning is that that's a macro. That is also the namespace is the way of declaring data types. We have studied that in lecture 2 and lecture 3, that using macro of std will keep us not to repeat again and again std and instead out because cout and integer man. So here, we remember compared to C language in C++ is robust and you can define any variable at any place. But a good programming practice is that you always define the variable in the beginning of the program. So there are three types of variables. Integer means whole numbers. When we say integers means whole numbers. Then floating points, these both are the floating points. One is for the simple floating points, is 5.75 and simple things we have given to you. And the second is double, which is can use for a simple floating point as well as is used for exponential values. We know that the exponential values, as we say 6.62 into 10 to the power 24. Here 6.62 into 10 to the power 24 or 6.62 into anything that we want in powers, the exponential values normally student knows that contain an integer. An integer values actually means whole number. Whole number. In our word, the number, a whole number is means number without decimal. When we say float, it means decimals. It means decimals. And when we say doubles, it also means decimals, but it's a huge decimals, or you can say exponents. The exponents we are using it 9 into 10 to the power, and then you go with a power. If somebody know what a latex is 25, normally coded as a power. So this thing, if you want to write, so here you want to write 6.627, so it is 6.627 into 10 to the power negative 24 is 10 to the power negative 24. So if you want to write or calculate these type of exponential values, mostly used in physics or chemistry numericals, this is capital G is the law of universal gravitation variable. So these type of things we can put inside of the double variable. Character, anything between two single quotation is called a character. And if you want to give a string, it's simply a character, or character you can say is only a single letter. Here we can give only a single letter or a special symbol Even when you put a number inside with a single quotation, it is going to be a character. If you want to give more, then definitely you have to give the total number of characters. As we know the basic rules, the combination of characters is called a word. Similarly here, this again, the character variable, I just given variable names WO and this 20 means can give 20 letters here. So 20 letters here up to, so that's basically in the programming word is called as a string. As I says in the end, we will give you the table and we also discuss the data types in detail, but you should have a practical feeling, a practical hands on the program. You know how actually the program works, then the theory will easily to understand this. So here we give the integer values of 5,000, float will 5.75 and G. And similarly, every variable initialized with the values. Here, how we can write for the concatenation purpose is use left shift signs to less than the left shift sign, and definitely we can go with the input stream. Then it's again converted into greater than. So see out the left shift. This sign is using as a comma as well is a string concatenation. That sign is also used for string concatenation. We remember this sign is used for string concatenation. Here, this is a prompt. This is basically a prompt. This is function like a comma, and this is a variable. And this is end of line. We can also use end of line like this. So similarly, if I go in the comments, so this is concate, this is concate. Then this is called prompt. the prompt will be displayed as we are writing. And then this is working as a comma. This is working as a comma, and then it is a variable. And then again, a concat working as a comma, and this is working as our selection for the next line. So basically understanding, this is used as a comma or concatenation. Anything that we write between double quotation is just a prompt. And when we have to write the variables, we put the variables and write that the pay certainly means it will not print pay, but it will print the value of pay. The value of pay is here, 5,000. Similarly, here the value of rate will be printed. Here the value of G will be printed. And here the value of CH will be printed. And the value of WO will be printed. Let's see. First we compile it and go to results. Then after that, we will discuss them in detail. So here you got the practical foundation in your hands now. So the value of pay is 5,000. Check it out here. If we match it, that the value of pay as it is, and means 5,000 when we are down the variable here pay. So it's giving us 5,000. 5,008, we initialize the variable integer pay is equal to 5,000. Similarly, we rate. So rate is here 5.75 and the rest of the values. Here verified it out that here the value we have given 6.627. The similarly value is here when you write down the negative sign, so it will be negative sign. We write the positive sign, it will be give it the positive sign. Check it out. The value of G is there. The value of G is where a word is there. The value of word is there here. Learning. So just a straight prompt. The blue one is prompt. Black one is variables, and black one is variables. Values will be picked from that variable. So we got at least 2 more lectures on string formatting and how can we use multiple scenarios of cout that we will discuss in lecture number 5 and lecture number 6. And now we'll keep repeating as we keep repeating all these variables, all these libraries, and using namespace macros. So again and again, now all these variables remain in touch, so we can easily understand that thing. So this is basic scenario. Now you know what the data types mean, how the variables formed, and how it get displayed. So now go actually towards the real background knowledge of data types. So we go on the background knowledge of the data types. So check it out. In C language, there are 3 types of data types. Some basic data types, those we already gone through with, integers, character. Similarly, Boolean, float, and single precision floating points. Every double we have done. So void and these you can easily notify it. Again, you can take it from any book, or I will share a link of my own book, or you can check it out. You can screenshot this thing. This is the very basic types. These basic type, most of the time, the basic type we're using is integer, character, float, and double. Others are just wide range, short range, just giving a different type of range. The secondary type of data types are derived data types that we will be when we complete our 15 to 20 lectures, then we go towards the derived data types. Derived data types, as their name shows, they are basically combination of data types. They are either list or group. This arrays means collection of elements and pointers, reference, function, and enumerated data types. These all basic definitions are there, but definitely when they come into the work, but they will come on to work after you have completed your 7th chapter at least, and 10 to 15 lecture if you remain continue with us, then you go with the derived data types. Then a user-defined data types. That's the most advanced level. You can say this is the basic levels of programming, the intermediate levels of programming, and the most advanced level of program, mostly the university students, when they are practicing, is called C with classes. We also call C++ C with classes. So the actual program of C++ is started when C with the classes. So this class variable is started, then there are structures, union type, what is there? Namespace. The namespace, similarly, you're using again and again, using namespace std. So here we will discuss how we can do our own logical grouping of types and functions. So these are 3 basic categories. If you want to take a screenshot, that basic category, basic type, then a derived type, then a user-defined type. Let me see on the second page, this is basically structure of basic data types, how much byte size they are acquiring inside of the memory. If we start the Boolean and character, they are every taking a single byte, and character, byte character taking 2 to 4 byte, character 16 2 to 4 byte. The integer, if we go, so these are total list, basically how much memory they are occupying. For your MCQs, it's very important. Basic understanding when we go with the memory switches. Here in the third page, we marked up the basic, most regular that we will use in routine programmings are as integer. Normally integer, we are discussing here, the integer is containing 4 bytes. Most of the time, the old books you will see taking 2 bytes. So basically it's correct. The previously, when if you're using a 16-bit operating system or 32-bit operating system, it's containing 2 bytes. If you're taking a MS-DOS mode old Turbo C version, then, but if you're going with Windows friendly versions, So here, basically, most of the time you are using 64 bits data type. Be remember, I rectified it's 32 64 bit data type. If you're taking 64 32 bit data types, so it will be say, okay, it's taking 4 bytes, means 4 bytes. But be remember, if you are taking 64-bit operating system, so it will not taking 4 bytes, it will carry 8 bytes. Be remember that thing. That's shouldn't be misunderstood. That thing, if you're 64-bit operating system, so it will take 8 bytes in memory. 8 bytes in memory. So total byte size is much they can. Similarly, the long will take 4 to 8 bytes. Basic thing is that if you are 64-bit operating system, it will take 8 bytes, otherwise 4 bytes. And then character, it's only one. We remember that. That's the most important thing we have discussed previously, that every letter placed, every letter placed the inside of a single quotation is called a character. Even that 5 is a character because it's placed inside of a single quotation. Now it's a symbol. So A is a symbol, or question mark or any special symbol is a symbol. Even a number is between single quotation will not get their aggregation, like 5 plus 2 will not get here 7. It's going to be 52. So we remember that thing. So there are 3 steps. Most regular data types that we will use in the example, we use these data types, or their byte size, or 3 categories: basic type, derived type, and user defined type. Let's move towards the codes now. So you again see that inside the codes, here you can also drag it down, so you can easily view the codes. Inside of the codes, we use integer, float, double, and character. So it is all from lecture 4, students. So you can comment any question you want. So we'll see you in lecture 5 tomorrow.